Over the past 24 hours, KSI and Jake Paul have been breaking the internet with their feud. It all stemmed when Alex Wasabi got ruled out for a concussion injury, and Jake Paul then posted a video where he said he would fight KSI on August 27th in London for free. Of course, KSI didn't accept the fight as he's in no position to stand a chance against Jake Paul, considering he's had around 4 fights in the past few years, and KSI has had 0 in 3 years. Although, what didn't make sense to me, Alex Wasabi posted an Instagram photo with the caption, "With all these rumors going around, there's only 2 things that are true. I've recently suffered a serious injury, and I'll be back very soon. You don't play with concussions. New fight date announcement on the way." Considering he's suffered a serious injury, how can there be a new date fight announcement? It doesn't really make any sense at all. It just seems a bit of a coincidence he signed to Jake Paul's MVP, Most Valuable Promotions, pulled out, and instantly Jake is saying he'd fight KSI. It's all tactics. It's now been announced that KSI is fighting his friend Swarmz come August 27th, who have even done a past song together called Houdini. Now this pissed a lot of people off, especially those that have bought tickets to the fight, as this matchup makes 0 sense at all considering Swarmz has never boxed a day in his life. Swarmz saw Jake Paul calling the fight pointless and made a response video.
This I just did here. He is now fighting one of his friends.
I'm seeing all these comments about the fight. The fight's happening on the 27th. I'm seeing these comments, especially Jake Paul, chatting shit. Mate, your brother's already got punched up by KSI, and now you want to get punched up too. Keep running your mouth, mate, and you'll see what will happen to you. Come London, bro. It's easy to run your mouth up on social media, but real life, bro, I know you're not about this life, bro. We're from the streets here, bro. Yeah? Let me show you something right now. You think me and KSI are friends? You lot have lost the plot. We've done one song together. That's it. We don't speak. We follow each other. We don't speak. He ain't my friend, bro. He knows what he's done. And yeah, 27th, you're going to see me. I'm a madman. Watch.
KSI tweeted out, to which angered a lot of fans with replies like, "All these essays and excuses. Now you're fighting against Swarmz, your friend, who also has 0 experience. Just admit that Jake Paul would humble you," which is true. How can you go from Alex Wasabi, where there was a storyline and he's actually boxed a couple of years, to your mate Swarmz, who's never stepped in the ring? Why can't FaZe Temper be the replacement? He would be the perfect fight. Over the past few hours, it's also been offered to Jake that Hasim Rahman Jr. can fight him on KSI's undercard, which will be interesting to see if he ends up taking that fight. Hasim had this to say about it all.
Let's say you get
I
comfortable.
told KSI that I will fight Jake for free on his undercard on August 27th at the cruiserweight limit at the O2. I don't know if he checked his DMs or he get my DMs or whatever, but I sent him that. I also let it be known that I would put the fight back on with Jake Paul and fight, and my only purse goes to the other percent or the other 50% that the fighters missed out on their purse. So since
Jake Paul did also tweet out, which a lot of people think is either Hasim on the KSI undercard or a bout with Andrew Tate in October. We previously done a video looking at a potential bout between Jake and Andrew, which would be a great matchup, and by far Jake Paul's toughest opponent. Who would you guys want to see Jake Paul fight next? Andrew Tate or Hasim Rahman Jr.? Me personally, it's gotta be Andrew Tate. Just for the build-up for the fight alone would be a huge spectacle. Tate was on a live stream with Adin Rose last night and got asked if he would fight Jake Paul and if the fight is even happening.
Could you and Tristan fight the Paul brothers?
I know everyone wants that.
Can you and Tristan please fight the Paul brothers?
Are they not your friends? I thought all you famous kids are famous.
I love Jake
friends.
Paul. I love Jake Paul. I love him.
Then why do you want him to get fought? Why do you want him to fight? What if he loses?
Well, I love both of you, so it's kind of like, wow, I'm watching my 2 friends. You know what I mean? Like fight to the death.
Who would you bet on?
Do you want me to be honest?
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's such a tricky question. See, you've kickboxed, but you've never been in a real UFC match, have you? And you know I'm not down.
I fought MMA, yeah.
You have fought MMA, okay. What's your record?
I've only had 3 MMA fights, 3 wins, but I only fought 3 MMA fights, and then.
When was the last time you fought?
Kickboxing. Year and a half ago.
I feel like if you train, you'll win. But if you go in there without training, I think it's gonna be a good fight, but I think Jake will win.
Interesting.
It would be a massive risk for Andrew Tate to risk the empire he's built just for the Jake Paul fight, as if he loses and gets knocked out. The hard persona of Andrew Tate, who seems this macho guy, is finished, especially if it's caused by Jake Paul. He didn't even seem too interested in the bout when asked the question, but he did briefly bring up the contract negotiations and how it's a long process, so maybe the talks have already begun. If his brother Tristan gets involved, he should fight Logan, as the Tates versus Paul brothers sell like crazy if set up correctly. People on Twitter are loving the idea of Jake Paul versus Andrew Tate with posts like, "I see Andrew Tate versus Jake Paul rumors flying around, and all I gotta say is, that would be hilarious. I hate Jake Paul, but the only time I'll ever root for him is if he does end up fighting Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate versus Jake Paul would be the most watched boxing match in history. I wonder who would be the betting favorite for the fight, as although Tate has had hundreds of kickboxing fights and Jake just has 6 boxing fights. Boxing is very different and more technical than kickboxing, but the casual viewers would assume it's an easy win for Tate just because of his experience in combat sports. Be sure to comment down below who you would see winning the fight if it does get announced, which I think is highly possible over the next few days. This concludes today's video. Be sure to subscribe to LoafTube for future celebrity videos and turn on that post notification bell so you don't miss out on any future uploads. Until then, see you in the next one.